It is really an incredible day. It really is. It's been an incredible... But this is
Was it incredible when you came to me this morning and you were like, I regret to inform you, you're not going to be able to start your new job. And I was like, why? And you were like, because we're being taken over by aliens.
Dude, it's over. As we know it, it is over. So these drones that have been harassing New Jersey have been doing this now for a couple of weeks. And there's all sorts of video, and it's mainstreamed. It's in the mainstream media has it. They're talking about it. They're making a thing about it. And there's real coverage. There's real drone coverage happening. This is Chris Smith, New Jersey police officer, talking about this.
So last night I was on the beach in Island State Park in Ocean County with the sheriff. He has been working it every single night. He's got his own tethered drones chronicling. One of his officers 2 nights ago saw 50 drones come in off the ocean right there. So we thought maybe they'll replicate it. They didn't, but we thought it was a possibility. Last night we had a number of other people there, including a commanding officer from the Coast Guard, who said that one of their 47-foot motor lifeboats was followed by between 12 and 30 of these drones as they went through the water, followed right behind them. So last night I was on the beach.
So there are plenty of stories like this. There's all sorts of private videos showing the drones reacting to other drones. One of the drones, one person's private drone went up to check out the crazy drones, and they hit it with some kind of battery killer, and it fell to its death. But these things,
I don't know. So this guy who's on Twitter, he has 24,000 followers. He says, his Twitter bio is USAF KC-10, retired 24, Lieutenant Colonel, Instructor, Evaluator, Airline 737 Captain, views my own. He said, okay, let's dig into this New Jersey drone thing. An easy way to see if there's a problem is to see if local airports are issuing notices to air missions, warning pilots about activity. If there were car-sized drones flying around, they'd put out a NOTAM quickly. It warns pilots to be aware and take some of the responsibility off them if someone hits one, etc. So none of the big airports in the area, Newark, Trenton, Philadelphia, McGuire, Monmouth, Executive, there's no reports of UAS activity.
Well, maybe
unmanned aerial system drones.
Oh, maybe because we're not getting any indicators that actual drones are out there, which means these things are something a little bit different. And we've had people say this.
But if this says anything that they would see, they would put out a notification. And in the pilot chatter in his groups, most pilots think it's funny. The videos we've seen are quite obviously airplanes to us. If some of the videos were a little clearer, you could tell which airline. I spent 10 minutes trying to clean one up that had the logo light on the tail, but ultimately couldn't decide which airline's logo it was, likely United. This is a very busy airspace that ATC sends us down low in, often early, especially for Newark. The approach corridors extend
all the
pretty
airplane
far
types
out.
pull this stuff. Remember when we saw that thing, that UFO at our party in Melrose? And immediately, like, the airplane type said, no, it's obviously flight, whatever. It's like, no, it's not. That's not what's happening. These aren't airplanes, dude. And people know they aren't airplanes.
Today on Capitol Hill, the House Homeland Security Committee, they held a hearing on the threat America is facing from unmanned aerial systems, better known as drones. One example is a story you may have heard about out of New Jersey, where mysterious drones keep appearing in the skies at night, close to military bases and other sensitive sites. Here's what's happened when an FBI official was asked about these drones at a hearing earlier today. Take a listen.
We do not attribute that to an individual or a group yet. We're investigating, but I don't have an answer of who's responsible for that, of one or more people that are responsible for...
Oh, they didn't talk to your airline friend, Alice?
No.
Oh, my goodness. How the FBI didn't get that information, huh?
Those drone flights. But we're actively investigating what the... Bureau has done to aid our state and local partners is what we...
The fact is this, nobody has any information. They don't know what they're seeing. And it's amazing.
Maybe that's because nobody's seeing anything.
Yeah, that's what it's got to be. It's got to be all the eyewitness reports of not seeing things.
People report
Here's one small town mayor, Sam Morris of Mine Hill Township in New Jersey.
Very quickly figure out who's doing this. Has that been the case at all?
No, there's a lot of rules on that, but we got to be a little bit. After watching Robert Wheeler's testimony today, I'm kind of fed up, and I'm part of that group of mayors that authored a pair of letters on Sunday trying to bring more focus to this, and we did. I genuinely think it's time to start harvesting drones and stop worrying about the rules. Whoever's running these drones, they're not worrying about the rules.
I agree.
They're using the rules against us, and that's always, it happens in a civilized society. But whatever they're doing, they don't care what the rules are. 11 drones, it's been admitted now, 11 drones have gone over Picatinny Arsenal, which is about 5 miles from here in a direct line. Those drones should have been blown out of the sky. Why are we putting up with this? Why are we putting up with this?
You're not talking about like the TFR temporary flight restriction rules. You're talking about literally just
By the way, this is NBC. This story has hit every network.
Okay,
I was told that the New York Times hasn't touched it, but this is everywhere.
Okay, so I understand something's happening, but maybe it's a mass hysteria event. I don't know what it is. But also, like, people are allowed to fly drones. That's also, like, allowed. So I don't know. There was a news story.
They're not allowed to fly it over the weapons factory.
Maybe not over the weapons factory, but like
these also aren't drones. What people are seeing is they're moving way too quickly. They're moving like unlike anything, and they're reacting to other objects. So maybe, listen, I'm not saying, I'm saying, I mean, that's one of the, and we're going to get to it, I'm building to this, that's one of the hypotheses is that, it's people messing around, or it's, or we'll get to the big one soon. Well, and then the third one, it's, okay, so people think it's one, us, our government, or two, it is a foreign nation, or three, these are aliens. Those are the three things I've heard. Now, nobody has...
Well, most UFO alien sightings are, I believe, demons.
Okay, but nobody has... Okay, it's demons, okay? But nobody has any information. So as far as I'm concerned, nothing is taken off the table. Every hypothesis is valid right now, until somebody gives me some information.
Send them out of the sky.
They have Picatinny Arsenal is a weapons development center. Okay, it's a high-tech place. It's in a rural area, it's beautiful, but it's a high-tech place.
By the way, this is one of the few times ever when it can be said, even though we're doing it before him, then we are doing the exact same show that Mike Montante will be doing tonight.
If you're the bad guys, you want to know what's going on at Picatinny. They went into Picatinny's airspace. That's a violation of the law. It has to be. I don't have the chapter and verse of the U.S. Code, but if I did that and they came back and tracked that I put a drone over, or an average person, somebody put a drone over, we'd be in big federal trouble. I don't know why they even put up with letting them go over like that. And then my understanding, Langley and then several other bases in New Jersey, they're doing that. What I don't really understand is the testimony from the FBI today. He said, well, the FAA has rules about what we can do and how we can engage these drones. Well, what is the FAA going to come and arrest the FBI if they take care of a little business? I mean, give me a break.
Yeah, he's absolutely right. And hang on, I'm going to get to a little bit more.
Well, and I have to tell you too, because you said we're going to do the same show as Montante. If I didn't live with you, this is not the show I would be doing, because my Twitter feed, which is like curated to people I follow and topics I click on and whatever, there were 0 drones on my Twitter feed.
Well,
not one drone appeared on my Twitter feed until you started sending me stuff and I was clicking things that had to do with drones. Because I saw nothing to do with any drones. I was all about like the Pete Hegseth, West Point scandal and like different. There were no drones on my timeline. You were like kept talking about drones. I'm like, what is it?
This is all there is.
What is going on in New Jersey?
So, sir, the FBI and our Newark field office, along with the state and local partners there, the Bureau is actively investigating the situation you mentioned, just the unexplained sighting of drone activity over that part of New Jersey. including proximity to sensitive sites and areas of concern. So
this is FBI speak for I'm clueless as to what's going on. We don't know. We're driving around out there. We've got the helicopter out there. We don't know.
We do not attribute that to an individual or a group yet. We're investigating, but I don't have an answer of who's responsible for that, of one or more people that are responsible for those drone flights. But we're actively investigating what the Bureau has done to aid our state and local partners.
Yada, yada, yada. Nobody knows anywhere. Nobody knows anywhere. We had Karine Jean-Pierre. She was asked about the drones. She doesn't know. Did we already play that? Did we play that yesterday?
No, we didn't talk about drones yesterday. I had no idea what you were talking about until last night after our show. You started talking to me about drones.
Everybody has been asked about this. Everybody has been asked about this. This is KJP.
There have been repeated drone sightings in the Northeast, especially in New Jersey. These are not small drones.
So this is the White House, the executive branch. So far, none of the other agencies, federal agencies, seem to know anything. So we're going to the top.
Pretty large. They're flying at low altitudes. They're flying in flocks. Has the president been briefed on this situation?
So we are certainly aware. The president is aware. So we're closely tracking the activity and coordinating closely with relevant agency, including DHS and FBI, to continue to investigate these incidents. Don't have anything beyond that to share. Obviously, this is.
By the way, she apparently didn't see your pilot guy because they acknowledge right here, confirming that there are incidents.
They acknowledge that there are reports of drones.
Incidents. She said incidents.
She didn't see them.
She didn't say reports. She said incidents.
DHS and FBI are tracking very, very closely, and so I would have to refer you to them directly, but aware.
And, of course, they're referring the press to her.
Keeping an eye out.
Nobody has any information.
Well, we don't even have a president right now.
Incidents that you just mentioned.
Still, though, but has the federal government ruled out that these are controlled by foreign entities?
Yeah.
And do you know if they're conducting surveillance over these
So
areas?
I cannot make any kind of predictions or comments about that specifically from here. This is something that DHS is looking at and FBI, so I would have to refer you.
If they could rule out that it was foreign entities, they would. She can't. They don't know anything.
To them. I don't have anything beyond that. We're tracking this very closely. Obviously, we're all aware of the incidents that have been reported. I'm not going to go into what they could be or could not be from here.
Yeah, you can see the incidents, Alice, on social media. They're all posted out there. The news is using the incidents.
That is something that obviously is being looked at as those respective agencies that I mentioned.
When was the president briefed on this?
I don't have a timeline, but he certainly has been made aware of this.
Yeah, he has not been made aware of this.
Who even is the president right now, by the way?
I'm not even sure. I'm not even sure.
Who's going to decide if we're going to war with the alien planet or not?
Well, it's a good question. So there's no information. Nobody has anything at all whatsoever. There's zero information except for one man, a man who, by the way, my friend Mike Montante says is a solid guy. This is New Jersey Senator Lee Van Cleef, Congressman Lee Van Cleef or something like that. And he's got the answers for you.
In focus now, Republican Congressman Jeff Van Drew of New Jersey, member of the House Judiciary Committee on the Hill right now. How do you address this at this point?
Well, here's the real deal, Harris. You know, I'm also on the Transportation Committee, on the Aviation Subcommittee, and I've gotten to know people. And from very high sources, very qualified sources, very responsible sources, I'm going to tell you the real deal. Iran launched a mothership probably about a month ago that contains these drones. That mothership is off, I'm going to tell you the deal. It's off the east coast of the United States of America. They've launched drones, is everything that we can see or hear. And again, these are from high sources. I don't say this lightly. Now, you know, we know there was a probability it could have been our own government.
Once again, Iran launched a mothership full of drones. I don't know if the mothership
what does the Pentagon say about the mothership?
I don't know if the mothership is in the water or in the air as well. But he is unequivocally telling you this. The first piece of information we've gotten, he said, I've talked to people who are high up, and this is what it is.
We know it's not our own government because they would have let us know. It could have been some really glorified hobbyists that were doing something unbelievable. They don't have the technology. But let's pretend that's possible. The third possibility was somebody, an adversarial country, doing this. Know that Iran made a deal with China to purchase drones, motherships, and technology in order to go forward. The sources I have are good. They can't reveal who they are because they are speaking to me in confidentiality. These drones should be shot down. Whether it was some crazy hobbyist that we can't imagine or whether it is Iran, and I think it very possibly could be, they should be shot down. We are not getting the full deal, and the military is on alert with this.
Look, you've given us some pretty dire information just here, and I want to make sure that our viewers are digesting this. Iran has the capability to pull up along our eastern seaboard and launch drones the size of an SUV into the skies of several states, particularly New Jersey, where we know the incoming president has a large home, also in the same county or nearby where some of these drones in New Jersey have been seen. That capability exists. It's possible some of those drones are here. So I have two questions. How are they fueling them? They have to land somewhere. Drones don't fly forever. Why don't they close down the airspace? Yes, it's inconvenient. Yes, it's the holidays. Shut it down. But if you start shooting things and you don't know how they're fueled, that's going to be mass explosions. This isn't like one spy balloon. Congressman, this is serious.
We've got to bring them down.
Okay. So there's a guy saying that it is absolutely what we think it is. We think it's Iran, which was a surprise to me when I heard it today, and I was like, oh, okay, it's got interesting.
The certainty level is interesting. Although, I mean, like, and I was an early conspiracy theorist believer in the fact that COVID was going to happen. So, and that absolutely did happen, and everybody acted like it was crazy. We have at least 2 listeners working out while listening to us in the chat right now. So
very good.
Good job, everybody.
Very good. Okay, so here's your Pentagon person. You want to hear her?
Yes. So the Pentagon has responded to this contention about the Iranian mothership.
Jen. Sabrina, can you tell me what the Pentagon is doing to address this issue of drone sightings over New Jersey? It's near sensitive.
By the way, Sabrina is going through her briefing book, because they've written up a chapter on this, shockingly enough. Oh, we're absolutely on top of this. Oh, certainly, absolutely. No. Remember, they also said the Chinese spy balloon. It's not a spy balloon. No. It's not turned on. No. It's not looking at important stuff. No. It's just drifting, zigzagged over nuclear freaking missile sites. And
Installations, the FBI is involved. What is the Pentagon doing?
Sure. So at this time, aware of those drone sightings that have been reported, at this time we have no evidence that these activities are coming from a foreign entity.
Yeah, I don't believe you, Sabrina. No evidence.
Or the work of an adversary. We're going to continue to monitor what is happening, but, Yeah, a friendly company, England, would have a mothership off the coast and launch into the beaches of New Jersey like that without telling us. It's just a friendly gesture that they never say, by the way, this is us. Happy birthday in a couple of years. At no point were our installations threatened when this activity was occurring.
Do not believe her.
Can you rule out that these are American drones or U.S. military drones?
These are not U.S. military drones. Again, this is being investigated by local law enforcement. What our initial assessment here is that these are not drones or activities coming from a foreign entity or adversary.
Representative.
Okay, so they're not U.S. military drones. They're not foreign adversary or entity drones. So whose drones are they?
Hobbyists, aliens, or demons?
Jeff Van Drew, who is a Republican from New Jersey, was just on the air saying that Iran launched a mothership probably about a month ago that contains these drones, and that mothership is off the coast of the east coast of the United States. Is there any truth to that?
There is not any truth to that. There is no Iranian ship off the coast of the United States, and there's no so-called mothership launching drones towards the United States.
That sounds pretty unequivocal.
Yep, they said the same thing about the Chinese spy balloon. Absolutely, they told us. This administration is absolutely has no problem telling you what they want to message you. So I do, as far as I know, everything is on the table. That's what this is. Everything is on the table. So now I had a bunch of listeners also sent me a bunch of stuff and showing that these things are not actually drones, but they're orbs, and they move incredibly. A lot of times they move independently of each other. Sometimes they move in sync, which we know drones can do. But they react to other input. When other, like, private drones went up to check them out, they were moving around. They were moving around like toying with helicopters and planes. You can see this video. So something is happening up there. It is happening. Absolutely. It is happening. So the fact that nobody knows is not good. What I think it probably is I think that these things are much better technology than we have, and we know we don't want to say anything that's going to show publicly the world that we are defenseless against these things. And that's what I believe it is. Now, I had a lot of people message me today and telling me that they're sure there are UFOs, little aliens inside these things. Mm-hmm. And that also would be interesting, because what are they doing? Like, and why New Jersey? It's like, this is where the Montante lives. I don't really understand that. But I thought about it, and I thought, like, okay, what if somehow we understand that they're aliens, and they're like little blue guys or whatever? Like, what do we do? Are we at war? I mean, do we kill them? Can we kill them? I don't know. Do we engage? Try to kill them? Did they already win? Are we able to kill them? Are they better than us? And what's the etiquette? We don't know, because these are not human beings. If they are, if these are little blue guys, they are not human beings. Can we enslave them? Seriously.
Spoken like a true Englishman.
I don't know.
Encountering a new species.
If it says something like that untoward, or I don't like it, can I backhand it onto the chaise lounge and ravage it? I mean, do we have to be nice to it? Can we be mean to it? Will it be mean to what? Like, how do we treat this thing? Nowhere in Galatians 6, it does not mention aliens, Alice.
It mentions beings might appear to you as an angel of light, and that it could be a demon in disguise. So it definitely does.
So if it's a demon, then we can be mean to it.
I'd opt to just ignore it. Then maybe, like, say a prayer and sprinkle some holy water.
Chicks can't be president. Oh, no. Say a prayer. No. I mean, I don't know.
That's the answer to a lot of dilemmas.
Could we have a Collector 6-ish slave? I mean, we could use one in this house, right? I'm not
entertaining this.
I'm not calling for the return of slavery. Who left the house? I'm not calling for the return of slavery, because that was human beings. But if these Collectorians, maybe they want to do that.
I don't think we need to worry about what happens if they're aliens.
Maybe they want to be treated as concubines, right?
I would object to being with you if you had alien concubines.
Why? You know what an incredible experience for me this would be? Alice, otherworldly?
I mean, demons in the Bible do that. So
take the fun out of having an alien sex slave, Alice Shattuck, stomping on everybody's good time. Sorry, guys in the chat. Sorry, guys working out, hoping that you're going to be, romantic with a blue hottie soon. But nope. Alice Shattuck wants us to pray instead. So
I'm a fun person. What can I say?
Yeah, absolutely. So I don't know what is going on. I think it's amazing that it's still unresolved, and we're just like, oh, we don't know. Nobody knows. Anybody know? Well, they're doing it right there. What needs to happen is this: somebody, even a private citizen, and I'm not suggesting this happen, obviously, because this is highly illegal, because you're not allowed to shoot at aircraft. Somebody needs to make one of these things make its way to the ground in whatever ways someone might do that. And and we need to look at it. What would you do? What would you do with this? What do you think we should do? I mean, your pilot friends said they're all planes, but if they're not planes and there's something else, what do we do?
If it's what? I mean, like, I don't.
I can tell you one thing else. If it's anything your friends at the Pentagon have said that it's not a military aircraft, and we don't think it's an adversary aircraft. Maybe that's the way they acknowledge that it's a technology that doesn't exist on this world. Because that's how you do it.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't have any answers for you on this. I don't get it.
Well, I mean, what do you have an opinion? So, okay, so Alice Shattuck just says, just let the orbs just orb.
I don't think they're really orbing.
They're absolutely orbing. It's there's plenty of video out there. Other stuff.
There's lots of video of lots of things on the internet. Cernovich says he's not afraid to say out there stuff. Cernovich says Iran can't do anything to counter Israel, its neighbor, and yet somehow has boats controlling drone armies in New Jersey. Seems legit.
I'm just saying that Lee Van Cleef is, he has an interest in protecting New Jersey, and he brought something. He whistleblew something. He seems to know something. I wouldn't think that Iran right now is a little spent. I wouldn't think this would be a great time for them to be messing around. I also don't think like Iranian mullahs have this kind of sense of humor. Like, let's have our orbs dance around for a while near New Jersey. That'll show them. That doesn't seem to me that's like, but I don't know. But somebody has to know, because what happened here is we've now discovered a valley full of 50 million jackalopes in what used to not be is now.
Maybe we have. Remember after the spy balloon thing? Then we shot down stuff, and it turned out it was just a hobbyist thing that was not anything.
Yeah, but how come now we don't shoot down everything? How come we're not?
Because people are allowed to fly drones. If they're just, it's possible that there's just people who have some drones flying around, and these could be different things. It could be, some of the sightings could be airplanes, some of them could be hobbyist drones, whatever, and people using drones in other professional capacities. People use drones for lots of purposes now, including like house listings, who knows? People are allowed to use drones. So it could just be that because of the reports of it and it's increasing this hysteria surrounding it, so then like more people are looking up and like noticing dots in the sky and are going like, oh my gosh, what's this? It must be part of the invading drone army. Like, I don't necessarily believe this.
Okay. You've ever heard of Operation High Jump?
No.
This is World War II. The Nazis were working with some other people in Antarctica, and one of our remaining fleets went out there to flush them out and ended up getting in a sea battle with these things that look like flying saucers. Mm-hmm. And there were American stuff was sunk, I think. It was like this crazy thing. I just found out about this today.
Okay.
Operation High Jump. 1946 Navy Antarctic Research Expedition. And they've gotten this. This will also be on Montante's World later. Mm-hmm. This is they got in this fight with a bunch of Nazis and aliens. So the fact that you didn't know this just tells me that
I didn't. But there has been for a long time UFO sightings that can't be explained. There have been, and that's a known fact. I think it's totally possible that people see stuff that can't be explained. I think waves of it tend to be a little hysterical, but I think probably nothing's going to come of this. Nobody's ever going to have any explanation of it, and it's going to go away and be another nothing news story. Maybe I'm wrong. I'll admit to you if I'm wrong. Because sometimes, things turn out to be things that don't seem like they are at the time. Like the COVID stuff I thought was a thing in February, and they had a whole Democratic primary debate after I was stocking canned goods where nobody mentioned the coronavirus, the Wuhan virus, in the whole debate. even as they were like welding people into buildings in China. And I thought it was crazy. So maybe this is your COVID. I don't know. Maybe this is going to be this big world-changing thing, and I'm totally wrong. But I think nothing's going to happen.
So let's move to the stuff
opinion.
that you were going to talk about today. Haggies, how's Hegseth doing?
You haven't seen this story? This I'm more shocked by than people seeing lights in the sky. So basically, ProPublica decided to do a little Oppo research, or whoever decided to do a little Oppo research on Pete Hegseth. And they decided to look into, he has talked about how he was accepted into West Point and then but ended up not going. And so they contacted West Point to see if he was actually accepted there. And they contacted West Point, and the West Point Public Affairs Office said, according to our admissions office, Hegseth has never applied for admission to the U.S. Military Academy. We called back to ask, this is from Jesse Eisinger at ProPublica. We called back to ask if that meant that Hegseth had never been admitted, and a second spokesperson told us on the record, absolutely 100%, because he never opened a file. So it seems like a big story, right?
Yep.
So he says, now we thought we had the makings of a significant story. This thread, is, by the way, is entitled, Here's a Story About How Journalism Works. We thought we had the makings of a significant story, right? That he lied about getting into West Point. But the first rule of good journalism is no surprises. You must give the subject of a potential story a fair chance to respond to all of the salient facts. Why do we do this? We want to make sure that what we have is correct. We care about accuracy. We aim to get both specific facts and the larger picture right. The essential part of this is contacting subjects and being intellectually honest enough to change your mind and drop a story. One of the reporters called Hegseth's lawyer. The attorney made a lot of angry legal threats but didn't deny the facts. We urged him to contact his client to make sure Hegseth understood what we were planning to write. A second Hegseth PR person then called. He asserted that Hegseth still had his letter of acceptance to West Point. We asked him to send it to us, but he hung up. That gave us pause, but we had on the record info from the academy itself. We went back to West Point. We also sent the Hegseth PR person a screenshot of a West Point email telling us Hegseth hadn't been admitted. He responded with an image of the acceptance letter. We went back to West Point. They apologized. An Army spokesman wrote, a review of our records indicates Mr. Peter Hegseth was offered admission to West Point in 1999 but did not attend West Point. An incorrect statement involving Mr. Hegseth's admission to the U.S. Military Academy was released by an employee on December 10th, 2024. Upon further review of an archived database, employees realized this statement was an error. Mr. Hegseth was offered acceptance to West Point as a prospective member of the class of 2003. USMA takes the situation very seriously, and we apologize for this administrative error. So then this reporter, Jesse Eisinger, writes, so no, we're not publishing a story. This is how journalism is supposed to work. Hear something, check something, repeat steps 1 and 2 as many times as needed. The end. Now, of course, there's another step if you were doing real journalism and not just publishing Oppo research for people who never want anything to change at the Pentagon.
What's the step?
The next step would be you write a story about how for some reason the United States Military Academy is spreading lies multiple times through multiple spokespeople about the nominee for Secretary of Defense.
Yeah, that would be a good story.
Because that's obviously a huge story in itself. That they're going out here on the record with 2 different spokespeople when they're being told, you know, like, I don't care if you're...
The only thing that takes a little bit of the heat off is that they got an apology.
Well, they did get an apology, but how is that an error that it's possible to make? How do you archive the database? Oh, whoops, we messed up. We just multiple times told you on the record complete lies about the nominated Secretary of Defense. What if he didn't have his acceptance letter?
Right.
Of which I don't have every... I mean, like, you obviously have no college acceptance
I don't have any acceptance letters.
But, like, you don't have your rejection letter from... UMass, right?
No.
I don't think I have my acceptance...
I do have an acceptance letter, by the way. I got accepted to Northeastern.
Okay.
After I was did for...
Do you have it?
I don't.
I don't think I have my acceptance letter from Tufts. Like, I have to rely on the university when they do a background check to check that everything I told them, you know, at a new job, that like that they're going to go to Tufts and Tufts is going to tell them the truth, because that's a common thing that universities get asked. Did this person get accepted here? Did this person go here, et cetera, et cetera? And for them to confidently assert that he, not only we don't have any record of sending him an acceptance letter, or that stuff's all too old, it's archived, we don't know, we don't have that year, confidently assert he never even applied to the school through multiple spokespeople is absolutely nuts. And if you're a reporter, you would have, and not just an Oppo researcher, you would have some curiosity about that.
Well, maybe
because the story's not dead now. The story's only dead if the only thing you care about is attacking Pete Hegseth for some reason.
Well, right, because it feels to me like it's somebody else's story now. Like another news organization should pick it up now.
Well, and not only have other news organizations, or at least people on Twitter, have started talking about this and saying, what the heck, West Point, this is a big problem, but Congress has gotten involved, specifically the Senate has gotten involved, because Tom Cotton has asked for an investigation into West Point lying to journalists about a nominee for Secretary of Defense. So he wrote today, Dear Lieutenant General Gilland, I'm concerned about reports that a U.S. military academy official has provided false information to a left-wing reporter writing a derogatory hit piece about Pete Hegseth, the nominee for Secretary of Defense. I understand that a civilian public affairs officer, Teresa Brinkerhoff, informed a reporter that Mr. Hegseth didn't apply to West Point, as he has said publicly in the past. This statement is incorrect. Not only did Mr. Hegseth apply, but he was accepted to the West Point class of 2003. Worse, the statement may violate Mr. Hegseth's rights under the Privacy Act of 1974 by revealing protected personal information. If true, it also demonstrates egregiously bad judgment to share such information about the nominee to be Secretary of Defense with a known liberal outlet like ProPublica. Could you please promptly look into this matter? Perhaps there's an honest mistake here, though I can't imagine what it might be, but I also can't imagine that this action was authorized or known to the West Point leadership. So, I mean, I think that's a pretty huge scandal personally, and demonstrates perfectly like why we need Pete Hegseth and other cabinet nominees, because this government is literally like dangerous. They're helping a left-wing media outlet spread lies about like political appointees.
Well, I can imagine West Point is totally taken. Totally.
I bet all these places are. When you have people like Milley in the armed forces, like absolutely. And it's a disaster. And like I wish it were less than however long we're at, 40 days.
That's
right
it.
now.
We saw the betting markets. Pete, turn around.
I think he has a good. Well, I think he has a good chance, and I think that's why they're trying to write hit pieces on him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I mean, I personally, I found that entire incident astonishing, and the fact that he blithely puts out this tweet thread of like, so this is how you do a journalism. F you a-hole. Incredible.
What else do you have, Alice? I want to get to the chat.
Wait, I did have one more thing.
You have the Act Blue? I forgot who Act Blue was.
Act Blue is
the umbrella thing for Democrats.
It's not an umbrella thing. It's a fundraising platform.
Mm-hmm.
It's like politics GoFundMe for liberals and their causes.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So like people do confuse it a little bit, because they'll say like an organization's involved in Act Blue, or Act Blue is raising money for BLM. So if you raise money on Act Blue, then they're like, people perceive it to be like mixing the money in some way, but it's really just a platform. It's like using PayPal or something. Like you're not connected to everybody else who uses PayPal, but it's like political PayPal, but just for left-wing causes.
Gotcha.
There's a Republican one too. I forget what it is. Red Winds, maybe, something like that. Anyway, so it turns out Act Blue has not had any way to prevent accepting foreign purchased gift cards on their platform for years. They only put in the capability recently, which is obviously illegal, because it's illegal for foreigners to contribute to U.S. political campaigns.
So what's a foreign gift card? I don't get that.
I assume like, you can buy like a Visa gift card.
Mm-hmm.
I assume
so you're buying
it's like
a gift
that
card for a candidate or something.
You're using that to like make a donation.
Okay.
Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
So basically, they've informed Congress they did not automatically block donations made with foreign bought gift cards until recently. So basically, like, you know, if I'm a foreigner, like, I could have somebody go like pick up a Visa gift card at the store for me, I think is like what the suggestion is. And like foreign prepaid and gift cards, domestic gift cards are from high risk or sanctioned countries. Like, so, but I don't even think it has to be like with US ones, that it could be like one that's purchased in another country.
Gotcha.
So like you can buy a Visa gift card in London and then like use it to make a donation to a candidate here that they didn't block out of country ones, which is kind of crazy. They said, so I guess, who's this guy? Style, House Administration Chairman Brian Style, a Republican of Wisconsin, whose panel oversees election integrity, told Just the News on Tuesday ActBlue turned over documents under subpoena showing a major change in September to the donor verification project. He says that they're investigating whether or not foreign countries were routing donations to Democrat coffers: China, Russia, Venezuela, and Iran. Apparently. So lots of good congressional investigations going on.
Want to see Jill Biden throw shade? Listen to this.
All feel that sense of, you know, peace and light, and that just for a moment when you leave here today that you feel, I don't know, a sense of joy. Because I think we all need like this, you know, we all need to feel joy now during this time of the season, during this time.
Vicious.
So
Joe
anyway,
Biden.
Okay, now I'll start.
Oh, man. Vicious, Alice. Why can't we all get along? Seriously, right?
I know. I'm sure she voted for Trump.
Of course she did. Of course she did. Okay, let's get to the chat. Oh, there's Nancy Mace with her broken arm. My goodness. Yeah, she was beat up by one of these trans dudes. Not shocked.
They do such a good job proving to people that they're not dangerous psychos.
Yeah, I realize that. Here's Trudeau.
That way. It wasn't supposed to be that way. We were supposed to be on a steady, if difficult sometimes, march towards progress. And yet, just a few weeks ago, the United States voted for a second time to not elect its first woman president. Everywhere, women's rights and women's progress is under attack, overtly and subtly. But I want you to know that I am, and always will be, a proud feminist. You will always have an ally in me.
Oh, what a bitch.
He's just mad that we're going to make him into the 51st state.
I love that. That's a great joke by Trump. I'm all for it.
Great joke by Trump. And you saw the lady, I don't think we played it yet, the lady who's mad about it.
Yeah.
Who was like, it is not funny.
I saw a whole bunch of that, yeah. Shall we get to the chat, Elsa?
Oh, let's head to the chat. Hopefully people have some more good ideas. People have been sending in some good ideas by email. Please do let us know if you plan on coming so we can get an accurate head count.
Hi, Steve from Merrimack.
Hey, Steve.
Under 60, fellas. Under 60. I just wanted to say that I really enjoyed your interview with John as well.
Thank you.
Forgot to acknowledge it yesterday, but my favorite part of the interview was when John was confronted by the guy who was pissed off because they returned the cat that the little girl had brought home. The guy confronts John, and John's like, I told you, you know, we're not going to eat the cats, okay? And the guy's response was, oh, no, we're not going to eat this cat. We're just going to sacrifice it in a voodoo ceremony. If that doesn't sum up the entire thing, oh, my God. Anyway, great interview.
Thank you, Steve. I appreciate it. That is a good point. No, we wouldn't eat the cat. Who do you think we are? My goodness, that is racist. No. We're just going to cut its heart out.
So Jerry on his show was pretty adamant and a little upset that Trump spoke to Kristen Welker. And I don't understand why he's so mad. isn't that a good thing that, Trump and, often Vance will go on those shows and continue to expose the left-wing media as frauds? Because wouldn't that have a long-term carryover effect when the 2028 elections come up, 2032? Because, you could tell that, these media people are holding the water of the Democrat politicians, the far left, and the more that Trump and Vance continue to go into enemy territory, the worse the left is going to look. So I think it's a great thing that they go on these stations and interview, and I'm just not sure why Jerry would be so upset about it.
Lion Jerry. No, Jerry. No, I don't know. Oh, I think. Well, he doesn't like. He knows that they're weasels. These left-wing reporters, and they're not very talented. But I would say, I think it was good. The Kristen Welker thing was good. I thought he scored some points. He showed incredible resolve. She was saying, "Well, you now, please, out of unity, please say you lost the election." And he said, "No," and I think that's great. And even something where I thought that he didn't have an answer when she said. Well, you said you had concepts of an idea for healthcare, just concepts. But can you elucidate more? And he said, we have concepts. And she's like, oh. And I think that's good. I think essentially he's taking these people apart. It
definitely feels like their power is broken.
Yes. Oh, totally. And she's the biggest complainer and whiny thing in the world. So that's fantastic.
So Steve from Merrimack says in the chat, the problem is NBC put a hit piece package together after the interview attacking Trump. Which I understand. And I would assume that's Jerry's objection, because I used to say stuff like this all the time too. Why does Trump do these interviews? Even with the documents case, I'm like, why is he waving around the document and saying this is a classified document I've got here? Please just stop. Just don't do this to yourself. But because they do, they set him up. They cast everything in the worst light. They use it as an attack. But in this case, I kind of agree with Steve from Gloucester that it's they're sort of toothless now at this point.
I totally agree.
Hey everyone, Phil from Attleboro here.
Hey, Phil.
Just wanted to remind everyone that if you are the least bit interested in attending the wild, crazy inauguration watch party on January 20th, Martin Luther King birthday, you need to get your name listed as an attendee. And we're really just looking for folks who are pretty damn sure that they can make it. We need a head count so that we can then move forward and pick an appropriate location to have this, what's sure to be a tremendous party. If you believe you will be attending, please contact Tom and Alice and leave your name and contact information at Burn Barrel Podcast. That's one word. Barrel has 2 R's and 1 L.
I get that wrong
Burn
sometimes.
Barrel Podcast at gmail.com. Sooner than later would be preferred that you contact them, and then we can start taking steps to make this thing a reality.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks a lot.
That's true.
Great day.
That's a good point. Tom does
Thank you,
get
Phil.
that wrong. On your old computer, the Burn Barrel folder where you save all your things has 2 L's.
I stand by that. Yeah. Thank you, Phil. Yeah, Phil's the project manager for our party. Alice and I took the plunge yesterday looking at venues, etc. And really, you can't do anything until you know how many people are interested. We should tweet that out too, so people can know. That's a great point. And kind of,
we have some good ideas. Some people have sent some good suggestions.
Yes, burnbarrelpodcast at gmail.com.
Burnbarrelpodcast at gmail.com.
Steve from Merrimack.
Hey, Steve.
Regarding Don Jr., I find him to be a big baby who just can't be alone for a minute.
What?
This freaking guy, apparently he was seeing Kimberly Guilfoyle before his divorce.
Oh,
so he gets divorced and immediately takes up with Kim Guilfoyle. And he's with Kim Guilfoyle for a while, engaged to her.
Mm-hmm.
And, before they even announced the breakup of the relationship, he's basically out flaunting that he's with some new woman.
Right.
That's a baby. That's a guy that just can't be by himself. He needs constant praise, constant attention. I don't hold with it. Thank you.
Yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe you're right about that. But I mean, she got Greece, right?
Yeah,
They
it's a
gave her
good
Greece.
ambassadorship.
I mean, she'll do fine, but I don't know.
Somebody was tweeting the picture of the house where the U.S. ambassador to Greece lives.
It's nice.
It looks very nice.
Yeah, yeah. I also think that I don't know if I get that from Don Jr. that he seems pathetic to me. I don't see that he does, but maybe he is. Maybe he is.
He does seem to be a relationship overlap person.
Yeah. Here we go. Ready?
I'm ready.
So I heard Daily Wire and Brett Cooper are parting ways.
I saw that yesterday too. Why?
And it was all because of the money.
Oh, I see.
Jared was the guy's name Jeremy
Boring.
Boring that runs that
Yep.
ship. He wouldn't open the wallet. So here in America, Steve Cohen, owner of the Mets, can open his wallet for Soto.
Yep.
But this Jeremy Boring guy can't open a wallet for the biggest person on their platform.
Is she the biggest?
Wild Times.
She definitely skews young. There's no doubt about that.
I mean, maybe with young people.
I can't stand that Daily Wire, and I got a subscription, and I'm gonna cancel it because I should have canceled a long time ago. Because there was laziness on my behalf.
I understand.
Yeah.
That.
So I mean,
I really like Brett Cooper, by the way. Her show, I like it. I like how it goes fast as hell.
I find that type of content, and it's no knock on her personally, because I'm sure she's great, but that type of content with like the quick cuts and the like that YouTube shortsy type of content, I can't. It makes me uncomfortable. Gives me anxiety. I don't like that. I mean, our daughter likes her. I get it. She probably skews younger. And I've seen a lot of complaining online about Daily Wire, sort of caused by this in the immediate moment, but like a lot of more general complaints about Daily Wire, that they're too establishment, that they started as a more anti-Trump organization, and then they just pivoted, because they realized their audience was all in for Trump, and which, like,
I don't think they were ever anti-Trump.
Ben Shapiro was kind of anti-Trump, wasn't he?
He was anti-Trump campaign in the beginning when
That's
they
what I'm
beat
saying,
up Michelle.
Right, I remember that.
But he was
Michelle Fields.
He criticized them like for the child separation stuff, and he criticized them here and there.
But and then they sort of went like, we're gonna call balls and strikes, and then just became a pro-Trump thing. But I mean, and some of the criticism is that everyone there is all pro-Israel and everyone there is all pro-vaccine, and if you're not, then you leave, because they're sort of ideologically rigid on certain topics, and that that's why Candace Owens is gone, basically. Although they let Candace Owens create a lot of pretty edgy
content. She was different.
Content.
I mean, she became a Hitler fan, and that was troublesome. But I don't think that that's totally accurate. I think that you've got a slightly different worldview between Andrew Klavan and Matt Walsh is less of a pro-interventionist guy when it comes to Israel and Ukraine. There's some separation. These are all independent thinkers. Those guys. I like them all, and I like Boring too. I don't know where he is.
I like them too, but I do think they are definitely occupying like a specific ideological space on the right.
Mm-hmm.
And there's not a lot of variation from that, like within their brand.
Okay.
Like Knowles, Matt Walsh, Andrew Klavan, Ben Shapiro. They're all like pretty much. I mean, they might disagree on something, but if they do, I can't think of something off the top of my head.
Yeah, I mean,
I like them, and I'm glad they do a lot of the stuff that they do, and like certainly. We listen to Matt Walsh fairly frequently.
Yeah,
Andrew
very funny
Klavan
show.
Fairly frequently. Yeah. Like, I mean, there's a bunch of them that we do, but I mean,
else they've been good to us. We like the Daily Wire. We like the Daily Wire very much.
I like the Daily Wire a lot. I think we're more ideologically aligned with them than a lot of people.
Perhaps you want to absorb us, tractor beam us into the mothership.
I don't think we're as popular as Brett Cooper. I hate to inform you, but
Tom, we talked about it before.
Yes.
But I'm all in on Kimberly Guilfoyle. She is beautiful. I used to love her on the 5. Just a attractive woman. So now that she's no longer with Don Jr., work your magic, Tom, for me. Make a few calls. Let's make it happen.
I think I probably have some contact information for Miss Guilfoyle, or at least her person, Steve. So let's go. First of all, Steve, she's much older. She's 55. It's out of here. I mean, Steve's not even 50. He's in his 40s. So, well, I mean, no, you know what? Alice married old, right? And it's been all W's for you, right? Alice?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
You're my Kimberly Guilfoyle.
I'll take it.
Hi, Steve from Merrimack.
Hey,
Under
Steve.
60. The discussion about healthcare reminded me of a conversation I had with my dad in 1986 after I took a 100-level sociology course that talked about healthcare, and the future of healthcare is HMOs.
Yeah.
And I asked my father about it, and he was like, "Oh man, that sounds like a nightmare."
Yeah.
And I asked him why, and he said the problem with an HMO, if it doesn't cost any real money to the patient to go see the doctor, they're going to see the doctor for everything.
Absolutely.
And if it's only a $5 copay to go see the doctor if you have the sniffles or strep throat or whatever, it's just going to make everything more expensive. And, it's just he basically was saying it was a silly, unsustainable model. And basically he was right. And it's led to partially, I think, where we are now. Under 60. Thank you.
It can be ballpark, Steve. But I appreciate that. And actually, that was good because it was easy to move things around, move messages around. And the naming convention, all sorts of stuff is coming together, Alice.
Wow.
It makes for a better product in the end, which is, of course, what we love. Thank you, Steve. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Yes, thank you for dealing with all prima donna Tom's demands because he refuses to, take some time after his 3-hour job every day and review the messages in advance of the podcast. So I do appreciate all our listeners' hard work on this front.
Do you realize the amount of brain horsepower it takes to pilot a mothership of political knowledge for 3 hours, Alice? Quite a lot. I'm not like you doing drag and drop on graphic design and etc. I do real things. Who blew the whistle to the world today? To Connecticut, to Long Island Sound, alas, down through Manhattan into the shores of New Jersey, that they were under attack. Twas myself, Alice. 'Twas myself. Well, you did BOGO ads.
Speaking of which, we got a lovely Christmas card from Joe in Simsbury today. So.
Oh, thanks, Joe. Appreciate that.
Very nice.
C'est la vie.